Pick one of these liars and put him in jail. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Virtue Signal. I'm Bill Whittle here with Alfonso Rachel. Zoe, I've been watching some more testimony in Congress, Josh Hawley and others. And not too long ago, I saw him questioning one of these Biden appointees for, I think it's the archivist of, the United States or whatever. And this woman in a previous hearing session he's got the tweets. She tweeted that Republicans are anti-intellectual, basically not smart enough to understand these things. And here's how you can go around finding a way to get around the law so you can remove, crosses in schools and that kind of thing. So he's got the receipts. And he asked her, she pulled her tweets down before she went for the confirmation hearing. And he said, will you provide us with a copy of all of your tweets? She said, no, all of my tweets, Senator, are personal tweets. They have to do with, a novel I'm writing or sporting events or my dog. And that's what she said last time. So this time he gets up there and he asks her the same question again. You're on the record now, you're under oath. Are you saying that your tweets were about nothing other than this? Yes. And then Hawley pulls out 5 tweets that are completely partisan stuff, right? And every time he asks her about it, she says, my tweets are my own personal business, Senator, something along those lines, right? So Hawley says, I've never seen this kind of stonewalling in my life. He's pointed out in front of her why she's lied on under oath. And that was it. And I'm looking at these confirmations with these Biden people, and it's like the Homeland Security Director would be in there, and they'd ask him a pointed yes or no question. Well, and he'd go off on some other thing, and he'd circle back and so on, and then he'd go. And I'm looking at these people, and I realize somebody's coaching them to say, listen, it's going to be a grueling 15, 20 minutes. Just keep saying this. And then when it's over, there'll be no consequences. And that's what I want to talk about. Consequences. There are no consequences. I'm watching this and I'm practically screaming. It's like, fine, Josh, hit her with contempt of Congress, hit her with contempt of Congress and hit her with perjury. And maybe then people won't be doing this business about thinking that like congressional oversight is just some kind of PTA meeting that they have to fudge their way through. And everywhere I look, I see it's like there's no consequence to things. Everything just seems to be like, yeah, get away with whatever you want to. And we wonder why things are in the shape they're in.
Indeed, man. I think one of the things you touched on is when you're talking about coaching, we got coaching and we got string pulling and people in other people's pockets, man. So this person can go ahead, despite being a public servant, and forgive me, folks, if I seem like I'm shooting from the hip as far as I go, because that's kind of how we do things. I don't know what Bill is going to talk about until he hears it, and vice versa. And I think that's actually I don't think. I mean I kind of know. That's kind of like how we do this. We want to we're not going to give you some coached answer on how we do these things, man. We have real talk here, man. And this is, with the experience that we have, and not only that, the practical perspective that we have on how this stuff plays out dynamically, we can have a seasoned, not a perfect, but a seasoned idea of what it is. And like I said, not try to give you some, overly refined answer, which at the end of the day, when you over refine food or something like that you can eat, it's going to end up bad for you anyway. So we try to give you what's natural, right? So even with this, I haven't heard, not only have I heard, we talked about this earlier, I haven't heard of this incident as it is, but based on what Bill is,
it's just consequences in general.
Yeah, just consequences, and this is an example of it. I get that, and so for the folks, I'm listening to this person who is supposed to be a public servant try to use the excuse of what's private is my own personal business, even though they made it public and they are a public service, and they're going to try to use the excuse that whatever it is that they do.
Yeah, let me make this easier. Let's just take the example out of it. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that this person is perjuring themselves under oath and stonewalling Congress.
I'm getting to that. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. It's clear as mud. But no, I feel you. See, the thing is, when we're talking about these consequences, we've got a sense of consequences, man. But the thing is we don't have a sense of rightfully placed consequences. We have a sense of perpetually indicting people for something that they didn't do wrong, and basically to use it to cover up our own evils. And that's an age-old strategy, and it's a strategy that's alive well in the Democrat Party. But I mean, this does kind of lead me to where I'm kicking a dead horse, and I keep kicking this horse, man, because it's something that just keeps on happening. And people scratch their head and wonder why. They wonder why that they're able to keep on doing it and scoff when I try to tell. And it's the thing I'm telling you is the thing that's not tried. The whole mainstream idea is what people keep going with, the emotional response, the reactionary response, and all this sort of knee-jerk response that people have made mainstream and they think is going to work is not working, and it's going to get worse. But what I've been trying to tell, particularly the Republican voters, is that the reason why they're able to keep on doing this is because Democrats have effectively made Republicans out to be as evil as they want people to perceive them to be. And there is nothing that Democrats can do that is evil as what the Republicans are playing out. Who's that one kid? I can't remember his name. Says Biden could have something to the effect of a child porn ring that he killed in his basement. And even that, I would still side with Biden over Republicans because Republicans are just evil. So that's the kind of attitude that's going on in the culture. And these people can get away with it with their Democrat fortified white privilege. Oh, no, there's no such thing as white privilege. There's no systemic racism in America. I'm like, really? And like, yes, there is. There's a system to this. And these people have gotten away from it, and they have systematically made you out to be the patsies of racism. There's a system to this, but you want to ignore it, and you want to say that it doesn't exist. And this is why these people can get away with what they get away with without consequence. But what do I know?
I'm looking at this. This isn't the arena of public opinion. I mean, this is perjury under oath in front of and contempt of Congress. This is why we have civilian oversights of agencies and nominees, so that we can have sessions like this. And for this person, it just gets more flagrant every time they put somebody else up there. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's telling me they understand fully that there are not going to be any negative consequences for perjuring yourself. And it's just another example to me that the law doesn't apply to them. And it really is beginning to not apply to anybody. The consequences issue goes all the way down to, 3-year-old kids. I mean, we talked about this before, but, kids see something in a story once. He says, I want that. Mom says no. He goes down to the floor and starts screaming in hysterics. Then mom agrees to buy it for him out of embarrassment or whatever. And so the kid has figured out how to get the things he wants. Mm-hmm. There are no consequences for his bad behavior. And so people just go off doing whatever they want to. There's no consequences, no enforcement. There's no punishment for transgressions. And I cannot remember the last time I've seen a public official. Held in court and tried. Scooter Libby, maybe.
And I mean, we're visiting the days, man, of lawlessness, where people are just able to make the laws and exempt themselves from the laws. But also, Bill, I mean, we're supposed to be governed by our consent. And these people are able to get away with what they get away with because, when you have a culture that is not giving consent to the kind of governance that we're talking about, that limited government, it's like, look, man, we're just supposed to protect your rights and the balance of freedoms. You guys want to do something that's just totally upsetting to the balance of freedom. And anybody who wants to get in the way or prevent you from imposing your selfishness onto us, you're going to pull out the cards, the racist card, sexist card, and use those things against us and make us all evil. While you guys are able to go in office, have hearings, perjure yourselves, totally get away with it, and you're not going to have a culture that's going to, those who want to hold you accountable have no say because we've been made out to be evil. So who are the evil ones? Who are you with the authority to try to tell these people what they're doing is evil? So what if Hunter is doing all this stuff on his laptop and all that sort of stuff? It's no more evil than you, right? And then you have the liberal constituency, who are basically the enablers, who are the drones who say like, well, so what if they're doing that? You're an evil racist and you need to be canceled anyway. So that's the culture that we've been led into. And this is why these people are able to get away with what they're able to get away with.
Well, folks, if you have somebody on television in front of the United States Congress and there is hard evidence presented by a senator who knows what he's doing, and the person perjures themselves in front of Congress and is clearly in contempt of Congress, and nothing happens to it, then the lesson is learned, right? I don't know what options that Holly would have. I don't know what he could do about it. But I mean, what else do you expect? And it's worse than letting the bad guys get away with it. The worst part of it is it makes law-abiding people think this is a game for chumps. And we are rapidly reaching the point, at least I am, where I just simply don't believe in it, that there is rule of law in this country when I see it at the highest levels under oath and nothing is done about it. I just don't know what to say. But there it is. So I guess, maybe we'd better be more careful with our Senate candidates, or maybe we'd better find a way to get some elections won because we're running out of time. If they can continue to keep ignoring the law, then things get more and more corrupt. And somebody, I'm talking about people in government now, I'm not talking about the pop culture, somebody's going to have to make a stand here and pick one of these liars and put him in jail. And I think that will encourage the others. For Alfonso Rachel, I'm Bill Whittle. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you here next time on The Virtue Signal.